How's it going, guys? Alright, so I'm here just to give you guys a few quick tips with Flightone. Alright, so basically this video is just going to be about setting up RSSI on a Crossfire Nano on a FrSky Taranis radio with a Crossfire module, obviously. Alright, so first thing is, just a little quick tip about Crossfire and wiring, because a lot of people ask these questions. Every receiver, no matter which brand it is, FrSky, Crossfire, Spectrum, FlySky, they're all going to be wired into the same port, the same pad, no matter which receiver it is. That signal wire, whether it be your S-Bus, your I-Bus, your Crossfire, or whatever signal you're using, that signal line is always going to go to TX1. Alright, it's not going to go to any other pad or port. It's not like Betaflight where you hook it into RX3 or RX4 or whatever you have. Flightone is specifically set up to be fast and simple. And the configurator will find whatever receiver you're using as long as that signal wire is on TX1. There is one other part that you need to do, no matter which flight controller you're using. If it's the millivolt, the revolt, whether it's an OSD, you have to do this. On these boards, in the corners here, there's going to be some jumpers. Alright? There's 3 sets of them. First one is for TX1 and it is marked on the silk screen. You can also find any of this information on flightone.com/support. In the middle of the page, you're going to see pinout diagrams. If you click on that and scroll down, it's going to bring you to a list of every piece of hardware that they have. On those parts, it will show you blow-up diagrams of the hardware and the pinouts. Alright? You're going to set that TX1 jumper. If you are running Spectrum, Crossfire, FlySky, anything besides FrSky, you're always going to set that jumper to normal. Alright? If you are using S-Bus, like inverted S-Bus, true FrSky, if it's the RXSR, the X4RSB, any of those receivers, or the R9s, if it's a inverted signal, it needs to be set to inverted on the jumper. Alright? Now the next biggest question is kind of off topic, but a lot of people go, well, my ESC, what do I set it to? There's 2 settings, alright? If you are using a Bolt 32 or a Spark 32, whether it's a V1 or V2, it doesn't matter. The V2 is just better at handling the higher voltages for 6S style rigs. That's the only difference for the new V2 over the V1 versions. Both are great. But basically, if you're running a Bolt 32 or Spark 32, you're going to set that ESC jumper to TX6 and TX6 current. That is going to tell the flight controller that it is running telemetry, full telemetry from the ESC, Flightone style telemetry. Now if you're running a BL Heli S ESC, so the Spark V2, the Bolt V2, the V3, whatever one you're running, if it's a BL Heli S, then you need to set it to current and TX6 current. That means you're setting it to just current sensing only. Now if you're using an ESC, it could be a BL Heli 32 ESC, but it's a different brand. I'm not going to spit out brands just because I don't want to accidentally confuse the wrong ESC with this, but some of them will only accept current sensing for their telemetry. So even though it says telemetry, it doesn't run the same way. So if you're set up and you're not getting the correct currents and readings on your OSD, try setting that jumper to current and you will probably get it working at that point. Alright, so now back on the main topic here, Crossfire and receivers. So you're going to wire that receiver with Crossfire. A lot of people are like, well, I want to be able to run Luas and this and that. Trust me, you're going to be able to do this. Just follow this setup, alright? With Crossfire, you are not going to want to use channel 2, the telemetry pad, alright? If you run a D-shot protocol, so if you're a racer and you want that fast QLY, aka turtle mode, for you Betaflight users, but if you want that fast QLY, you're gonna have to run D-shot, because turtle mode and QLY are a D-shot protocol and can't run on multi-shot. So anytime you're running multi-shot and you go to do a QLY, your ESC and flight controller are restarting and switching between the protocol. That's why sometimes it takes a second before it activates. Now, the other thing real quick, if you're trying to test your turtle mode or your QLY, it's not going to work right away with Flightone. If you just throw that QLY switch and then arm it with the quad upside down, it's not going to do anything. That is a safety feature. Your quad must be flying for a certain amount of time before you can try to QLY. Alright? So back on topic again, sorry, a little ADHD here. But you're going to wire up your power, ground, and channel 1. That is it on the receiver connector, going to the flight controller. That's all we're going to use. Now, with Crossfire, there's two ways you can control a VTX if you have a unified. You can have the Crossfire control the VTX, or you can have Flightone control it. Short and sweet, if you want Crossfire to control it through your module or your Lua, you're going to wire channel 4 from the Nano into your smart audio on your Unify, instead of having your smart audio go from the Unify to the flight controller. Now that'll allow Crossfire to control everything. That's going to disable your OSD from being able to change your power band or channel settings on boot up or go into pit mode and all that nice stuff that Flightone allows you to do. If you would prefer to have Flightone control it, you just disregard the channel 4 wiring on the Nano and run your smart audio line from your VTX into TX3. It's going to be on the same connector that it comes with. When you get a Flightone flight controller, especially the millivolt, it's going to come with these little harness connectors. Sorry, I've already busted this one apart showing somebody something. But it will come with these connectors. That's pre-wired up for the old Unify. You can just clip that connector off and just match the colors up, basically, and just double check with your pinouts that nothing's off. Make sure you didn't use the wrong connector, because there are different wiring orders for each of those connectors they send you. One's for a receiver, one's for a VTX, one's for a camera. Alright, so after that's done and you found out how you want it to run, we're gonna go ahead and bind up our receiver to our radio. So to do that, we're going to have to turn our radio on. And if you have not set up a model before, you're going to have to go ahead and set up your model. And once that's done, you'll notice that your Crossfire won't be turned on yet. That's okay. What you need to do is go into your model list here. You're going to select the model that you're working with. And then you're going to page over until you get to page 2 of 12, which will be your setup page. You're going to scroll towards the bottom and you're going to see a list like this for internal RF and external RF. Originally, this radio will be set to D16 for your internal. You're going to select that internal RF mode and set it to none or off. All right? Then you're going to scroll down to the next list that I have highlighted, which is external RF. You're going to click on that and set it to Crossfire. Once that's set, you'll notice your Crossfire will now power up. Alright? So now we can go ahead and bind our receiver to our transmitter. To do that, you're just going to click and hold on this full-size module, and you're going to go to your bind menu. If you have the micro module, you'll do this through the Lua. Again, just get it into bind mode. The micro, I believe, actually you can press the button up here. I'm not exactly sure on that one. I have not used it much, but I believe it's either through the Lua or you can just press it to get it into bind mode. Anyways, once that's in bind mode, all you're going to do is plug in your quad. Once that plugs in and the receiver powers up, it's automatically going to connect to your Crossfire module, and it's going to give you an update notification. You're going to update the receiver. Once that's done, it's going to reboot and you're all set to start working with these settings. So the first thing we're gonna do is, again, we're gonna click and hold our Crossfire button, or go through our Lua, and get to that menu that has general, set failsafe, bind, it'll say like RX Nano or Nano RX, and so on and so forth. With your quad powered up and the receiver bound, when you go into that menu, you're going to see your RX Nano pop up. Once it does, you're going to go into the RX Nano, click on it, and it's going to bring a menu up like this with outputs and channel map. You're going to go down one to channel map, and then you're going to see a list of all the channels, 1 through 8. You're going to scroll down to the 8th channel here, select it, and change that value to LQ, link quality, all right? Once that's set to LQ, you can press to the left to go back and back out of that menu. That's all we have to do on the Crossfire side of things. Now, you're gonna go back into your Tyrannus, get to your models page, and you are going to page over until you get to your input page, all right? You're going to set your switches and your RSSI here, all right? With Crossfire standard setup, it's 8 channels, so you'd have your throttle, yaw, roll, and pitch for the first 4 channels, and that leaves you 4 more for switches and any telemetry you want to run. So I generally set up 3 switches and leave the 8th channel because Flightone uses channel 8 to send its RSSI information through the OSD. So you're going to go down to the 8th position on your inputs page, the 8th slot, and you're going to click and create a input. You can name it whatever you want. I like to use RSI, thanks to Project Blue Falcon. Rest in peace, my friend. So, it's a little advice I got from him when I first started out. But you're going to go through, and you're going to set your input name, and then you're going to scroll down until you see source. It should be the 3rd selection. Now, instead of just clicking on it, you need to click and hold. Just one press and hold it down. Don't click and then hold, whatever. Just click and hold. And a menu will pop up like this. When you see that menu, you're going to scroll all the way down past channels, and you'll see one that says telemetry. You're going to click on it. Oh, no, I'm sorry guys, I forgot one thing here. Back this up. Alright, so, backing up a little bit, once you have it bound and you set your LQ, there is one other thing you need to do. I'm sorry, I forgot about this, but go to your models menu, page all the way over to, I believe it's the 11th page or the 2nd to last page. It's going to be the telemetry screen. You need to click on Discover New Sensors when your quad is plugged in and the receiver is powered up. Now once you click on Discover New Sensors, you should get a list of about 9 sensors that show up. RSSI critical. It should say 1 RSS, and it'll give you a dB value. The second one will be 2 RSS, and so on and so forth. Alright, once those show up, you can go through and click stop searching, stop discovering, and then you can back out of that menu, and we're going to go back to our model select page, and we're going to page over back into our inputs. Alright, now back to what I was telling you before. Sorry about this mix-up. On the inputs page, we're going to go down to that 8th position. We're going to create that RSI input. Okay. And then you're going to go down to the source, that 3rd menu. Alright. Click and hold. It will bring up a menu again. Sorry. If you did not discover the sensors, you would not get this menu popping up with the telemetry at the bottom. You're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you're going to see one that says telemetry. Click on it. Now it's going to have 1 RSS flashing. You need to scroll down until you get to RQLY. Alright? That's radio quality or radio link quality. That's the value that we use for Crossfire and Flightone. All right. So once you select that, you just need to go down one menu position below to the scale, and you need to set the scale to 300%. Originally, the value will be set to 0. Again, set it to 300%. All right, once that's done, you can back out of that, and you can page over to your mixer page and set up anything on your mixer if you want. This is not necessary, but it is a good idea to activate these under the mixer. Once that's done, that's it, guys. All you have to do is go into your Flightone configurator. Quad does not need to be powered. Plug the flight controller into your configurator, and when you have the main splash screen, you click on Configuration tab in the top. On the top right screen of the Configuration tab, you're going to see your OSD menus. You're going to click to Configure or Set Up Layout. It's going to bring you to a new splash screen, and it's going to show a generic camera view. On that generic camera view, you're going to see a grid. Anywhere in that grid you can click, and it will allow you to place basically an OSD widget into that location. All you're going to do is click wherever you'd like your RSSI. Click on it. It'll bring up a menu with a whole bunch of options of different elements you can put in, from battery voltage, current sensing, MA readout, RSSI, craft name, launch angle. There's everything. But you're just going to set RSSI, put it wherever you want, click Save and Exit. That's it, guys. It's going to work. You'll get a reading when you're flying with Crossfire. It's usually going to be at about 100%. It will drop down. Lowest I usually drop is about 75 if I'm going really far out or behind some really tight stuff, blocking the signal a little bit. But other than that, it's ready to go. There's no other tweaking. There's no other messing. There's no clicking into aux channels or setting this or that. And it's literally just wire up your receiver, bind to it. Once it's bound, you're going to go into your telemetry page, discover new sensors, stop discovery. Then you're going to go over to your inputs page. You're going to create your RSSI element on channel 8, the 8th position. And then once that's set, you're going to go to the source, set it for RQLY, set the scale to 300%, and exit out of there. Once that's done, go to the OSD, set your RSSI element there, and you're done, guys. That's it. Now, I'm sorry it took so long to get this video out, and I hopefully will be getting a little bit better setup here soon, so the quality will start going up on these videos. I am going to start posting a lot more how-tos and some go-to videos for Flightone hardware, just kind of help you newcomers out with getting set up and in the air as fast as possible. I know we have a lot of questions from people, and that's something that we are trying to address. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. I know it's a long video, but hopefully it helped you out. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you.